Welcome to Spirits Podcast, episode 45, Creepy Kids. I think we deliver on this premise, Julia.
Yeah, I think it's actually the perfect way to start off Creeptober.
Creeptober. Oh, we are so excited. And actually, that reminds me of my recommendation for this episode, which is Inktober. People, apparently, it's like NaNoWriMo, but for artists, and they are putting out an illustration, a piece of art every single day. We have had such beautiful Spirits fan art come in already, and I just want to totally shamelessly ask everybody to make us lots of Inktober drawings.
I think you already did that just by mentioning it.
I'm in. I also want to mention our new patrons who we love. So when we're going weekly, we have switched some of our tiers around. We have made our tiers cheaper, but we are also charging more frequently. So anyway, there was a bit of a housework situation with our Patreon, and we are just really grateful for everybody reading my long email and dealing with that and for signing up. So we would love to welcome Christy, Angel Kitty, John, Anna, and Lou Mack. And thank, as always, our supporting producer and legend level patrons. New tier, y'all. Physical merch.
It is a real exciting tier. I'm excited to send you guys your first Spirits-themed gift box. It's going to be amazing.
Like a culture club. We're going to have books, movies, maybe some of those cool skull-tipped olive spears for drinks. Oh my gosh, I have so many ideas.
Should we list our beautiful supporting patrons who are definitely not creepy children?
If I didn't, it would feel weird. So thank you so much to Leanne, Cami, Cassie, Dylan, Chandra, Catherine, Philip, Shannon, Julie, Sarah, MCF, Katie, DDLG for dummies. If you have a first name, let us know because I can thank you that way. Phil Fresh, Deborah, and Charles.
You guys are definitely not creepy children. You are the cool 1950s British paintings of our hearts?
Yes.
Question mark?
It'll make sense. That's my favorite story from this episode, I think. Anyway.
Good.
And finally, we would love to thank Storyblocks for sponsoring us again this week. So they're a provider of high quality stock images for a fraction of the cost than you would do to buy these individually from professional sites. You can start downloading anything on their site. They have thousands and thousands of things at storyblocks.com/spirits during a free trial.
Guys, we're so excited that you're here with us as we go weekly. So without further ado, let's get to the episode, Amanda.
All right, let's do Spirits Podcast episode 45, Creepy Kids.
Hey, Amanda.
Your eyes are scary. What?
I'm so sorry.
What?
Let's start that again. I just want a hey, Amanda, hey, Julia.
No, let's keep going. This is what it is.
Okay, so we're just going to keep roll with this. Okay, so I have a story from this weekend.
Okay.
Because Jake and I, the weekend that we're recording this, Stephen King's It just came out in theaters.
Yeah.
And I went to go see it with Jake because his favorite thing is to see horror movies, and my favorite thing is to cower while we watch horror movies.
I super thought you were going to talk about your recent engagement. Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
And then go into a lovely love story, but it sounds like we're going the opposite direction.
We're going the opposite direction. We're going to talk about murder and stuff.
Let's do it.
So going to see it was kind of a big deal for me because one of my biggest fears of all time is clowns.
Yep. As it should be, logically.
And I completely blame it on accidentally watching the first Stephen King's It with Tim Curry when I was 4.
Nice.
Because I was like, oh, it's a clown, and then watched all the murder.
Wait, who gave you control over a remote at 4?
My parents. I was a latchkey kid.
You sure were. I was the opposite of a latchkey kid, which is
my parents would nap when I get home. So they just leave me in front of a TV.
Your dad did work a night shift for a lot of our childhood.
That is true.
Made sense.
It was making me think of what tropes in horror movies really scare the crap out of me, and I kind of wanted to know what recurring themes in horror really get to you.
I am definitely not a fan of the apparition in the mirror.
Okay.
That really freaks me out.
That's a classic.
Yeah, and just like a flash in a thing that shouldn't have flashes in it, like the person behind the window and the person isn't there a movie where a babysitter or otherwise sexy young person is
that's
vacuuming is vacuuming a living room or something, and then there's a slasher outside the door, and maybe that's Scream.
Yeah, maybe.
What's
might
the one
be
with
Halloween.
the Scream painting mask?
That's Scream.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Scream?
No.
We're gonna have to fix that.
Oh.
It's a good one. It's actually very, very good, that movie.
Anyway, I don't like that. I don't like when they're living their daily lives and the horror and the danger is imminent and you just can't tell them.
Yeah. I completely feel that. Another one of mine, because it kind of segues into the story that I want to tell here, is the horror movie that it's a trope that you see in a lot of stuff, and that is the creepy child.
Oh, yeah.
The
That's a good
creepy
one.
child is the worst one, in my opinion.
Bailey and Austin are my youngest siblings.
Yeah,
They're
you
twins.
have twins.
And they love to, whenever they visit either of our parents, to like look at childhood photos and snap me particularly creepy ones of themselves.
Cool.
Bailey is a superstar at this. So she will snap me photos of herself looking so fucking creepy. And as the like cutest and youngest child born in the age of digital cameras, the twins have way more photographic evidence than Connor and I ever did, which, is good.
Did they ever go through the creepy talking at the same time phase?
No, but they did, like, as babies, if one of them was sick, neither of them would sleep, or they actually wouldn't sleep in separate cribs until they were like 9 or 10 months old. Like they had to be touching, and it was really adorable. Like their foot or their elbow would like touch each other's hand.
It is really cute if you have the right music playing, and then really creepy if you don't have the right music playing.
There have been lots of situations where one of them like fell down or was hurt, or like Bella used to have epilepsy, so she would like have a seizure, and Austin would just like get super disturbed from a different room. So there's some twin mojo going on.
There's some twin magic happening.
Oh yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. This episode is not about twins. It's just about creepy children in general.
Anyway, my siblings are lovely. I love them. They're not creepy at all. But in photographs, you can get there.
No. All like small children are creepy at some point in their lives.
For sure.
For
Yes.
sure. 100%.
It's like staring at you. Anyway.
Yeah. And like, to be honest, this is something that we as humanity have kind of understood for a very long time. And so creepy children is a thing that dates back a decent amount.
Is this episode about creepy children?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god! I love it.
So we're actually going to start off with the original creepy child, which is the changeling.
Oh, I thought you were going to say man baby Jesus as depicted in Renaissance paintings.
No.
Do you know the versions of Jesus that are
Yes,
just like a
where-
man's body
yeah.
with a baby's head that are just very small in the arms of Madonna?
Yes, it's the Tom Haverford baby. I know
so bad.
exactly
So
what
bad.
you're talking
Oh my
about.
god, changelings. Yes, I
know it's
am
one of your favorites.
Irish, and I know about changelings, and I would love to hear your take on them.
Well, I'm going to tell people who don't know about changelings what changelings are first. So we're talking about a child that is believed to be a fairy child left in the place of a human child that was stolen by fairies.
Yes.
That's a lot of like going back and forth, but
Yes, so it's basically like musical chairs. Fairy comes in, steals a human baby, leaves a fairy baby.
yes.
Sometimes it's like a baby made out of rocks and sticks that sometimes like dissipates into nothingness later, but it's like a false baby put there when the human baby is taken.
An example of that too is the Aswang, when we talked about that in our third episode.
Yes.
Third episode. And they would just like eat baby and then leave rock that looks like baby.
Yeah, it's one of our least downloaded episodes because people don't understand the title, but one of the most commented upon episodes. So
100%.
if y'all are catching up on our back catalog or listen to us after episode 3, definitely go back, check out the Aswang.
The Aswang is a fun one. So human children were swept away to act as servants for fairies, or because the fairies were attracted to the baby's beauty. Usually they were blondes because, Ireland liked blondes, I guess.
Unusual and like of the fae, like light
Yeah.
eyes, that kind of stuff.
Or because the family somehow slighted or insulted the fairy folk.
There's lots of stuff in Ireland about just quietly trying to make sure that the powers that be don't notice you. And that could be a Catholic thing. That could be a lived under centuries of British rule thing. But it is very common to just like quietly appease the fairies at all times by leaving out bread or milk or not doing things that offend them or making offerings because you just don't want them to come in and steal your baby.
I mean, that's the dream, right? For no one to steal your baby.
I guess that is the dream, Jules.
I mean, it's a very simple dream, but it's one that we should all strive for.
I'm a woman of simple tastes. Don't steal my babies, fairies.
Don't steal my babies. So it was said that human milk was necessary for fairy children to survive,
Interesting.
which, kind of makes sense. The source for changelings, like from a historical folklorist lens, is actually really sinister.
Mm-hmm.
So historians connect memories of the inhabitants of various regions of Europe that had to be driven into hiding by invaders to fairy stories and changeling stories.
Oh, wow.
Because changelings actually occurred, according to these folklorists, when the hiding people would exchange their own sickly children for the healthy children of the invaders.
Shit.
Isn't that creepy as hell?
That is really creepy.
Yeah, just like, I don't know. Don't swap your baby just because it's sick with someone else's. That seems wrong.
And speaking of really interesting modern takes on the changeling myth, I actually read a really interesting theory around changelings babies. So there's ways to like identify if your baby is a changeling or not. So they can cry too much or too little. They could be very like handsome, like you said, blonde or blue-eyed, or otherwise like look different to the family. And there's other like behaviors, like they wouldn't necessarily, if it was a changeling, maybe they don't laugh or don't make eye contact or otherwise like act unlike babies that you would think are typical.
Yeah.
And so one of the theories is that developmentally disabled babies or neurodivergent babies who display behaviors that are different to what might be expected, of like most babies that families would be used to, might be kind of categorized as otherworldly. And that could potentially be one of the reasons that, a child's behavior, if you don't understand why your child is behaving differently to how you expect, changeling status might be a thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a case, and a lot of historians do link the concept of changelings with developmental disorders or autism or something like that. And it's really, really an interesting part of history and another example of the way that the human mind works when we're trying to explain things that are unexplainable. My favorite thing about humanity and mythology.
I know. And I've seen a lot of things like that around queerness and gender queerness also, where, it can be a bad thing, right? Where like difference is stigmatized and described as otherworldly or, not human. Like there are lots of ways in which that narrative can be bad and really othering. But I don't know, like as a queer person reading through myths over time, I'm like, fuck yeah, witches, like fuck yeah, people, that just behave differently. And there is a kind of like badass, mystical, like outside of this realm, magical explanation for all that stuff. Like
for the
I think there
society
is
kind of situation.
there is empowerment to be found there in that narrative if you are someone affected by it and that's what you want to view it as.
Yeah, that's our favorite thing. It really is.
I love it. Like history is yours for the taking.
100%. Just, if you're not a straight white dude who has already taken history, history is yours for the taking.
Right. History has already been theirs and they took it.
Yes.
And now the rest of us are realizing like, oh,
there's
right.
parts for us too.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's nice that we finally get it.
Go history.
Yay. So let's talk about a couple of other versions of changelings, just because we already talked about Ireland a little bit. Martin Luther in Germany, because like, ayo, Protestant Reformation.
99 Theses, what's up?
Believed that a changeling was a child of the devil without a human soul. I caught you while you were drinking a little whiskey there.
Go on.
The Germans also believed that you could reveal a changeling for what it was by trying to burn the changeling in an oven. Bad. Whipping the changeling. Bad.
No.
Or brewing and cooking in eggshells, which is a weird but a better option than the first two. Ireland also had that same concept where if you put a changeling in a fire, it would cause it to jump up the chimney and return the human child, which just don't do that.
Just don't.
That's a bad option if your child is not the changeling.
That's a nuclear option. And like, isn't it better to live with a changeling than to potentially kill a baby?
Yeah.
I feel like I would just do that.
Well, let's not do the infanticide.
It's like when you're in a restaurant and someone delivers you the wrong meal. And you're like, well, this is my life now. Like, I would much rather eat this wrong meal than suffer through the social situation of like informing this poor server who had nothing to do with it that this is the wrong meal. Like, I live here now.
How many times have you done that?
A bunch.
Ooh,
a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an unnaturally assertive person, but especially in different countries where like I don't know enough of the language to like describe myself properly, I'll just be like, well, I'm just living with this now. And I feel like I would find myself with like a 25-year-old child because I just did not want to see if they were a changeling or not.
Okay, wow. That is a bold move, my friend.
I don't know. I'm just thinking through the bit, Julia. I'm playing with you in the space.
But like, it kind of is the server's fault. And I've done serving before, but if they deliver you the wrong plate, They're the one who took your order in the first place.
Okay, but like they're not like being malicious against me. Like,
No,
it's just
of
like
course
this is the
not.
situation that we're all in together.
But human beings make mistakes, and you just gently remind them, be like, actually, I did order the chicken parm and not the veal.
Yeah, no, and Julia and I, being New Yorkers and like assertive badass women on top of that, we always correct gently and lovingly,
Yes.
and like we end up bonding from the experience.
I'm always the nicest person to servers because I did serve
oh yeah, like
myself.
we've been there. We know.
Yeah, I don't understand people who are mean to servers.
I don't either. Maybe they're changelings.
Maybe.
They can't empathize.
Fuck those people.
New theory.
New theory. People who are mean to servers are secretly changelings.
Because they're used to just like an endless bounty of food and wine and ambrosia in like the Fae court.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shout out again, Holly Black with the Ironside trilogy. God, we love it. Also, Herbie Brennan, I think is his name, has this Ruler of the Realm and the Fairy Wars, maybe, and Purple Emperor, I think, was the third one in the series.
You were literally looking them at the show.
It's really far away. I can't and like it's in gold leaf. Anyway, those are 3 excellent fairy books. Also, shout out to the Spirits Book Club, which is currently and always and forevermore reading Sabriel.
Everyone is reading Sabriel. We get so many Sabriel tweets every day.
I made friend of the show, Eric Silva, read Sabriel. He really dug it. He needs Lyriel next. And you have to return a portion to me because you're working on it.
Yeah, I read the first 2 chapters and then I moved. So
keep going.
I know. I have so
Worth
many books.
it.
I just picked up Ancillary Justice, which is by Anne Leckie, and it's amazing. It's a sci-fi one. We're getting really off track here. That's my recommendation corner. See you later. Bye.
No, please do. Anyway, but everybody who has read and loved Sabriel, move on to Lyriel. It is my favorite book in that trilogy, now a big series, and I love it, and it like shaped me as a person, and it started my love of dogs. Like, seriously, go for it.
Okay, back to changelings.
Let's do it.
A second. So changeling beliefs lasted in most parts of Ireland until as of late 1895, which is when a woman named Bridget Cleary was killed by her husband, who believed that she was a changeling following what most medical historians believe was a bout of pneumonia.
Oh no.
So she had pneumonia. Her husband was like, something's wrong with you, and just assumed she was a changeling and then burned her in the fire.
Yikes. And also, I'm pretty sure my Irish grandpa mentioned changelings at some point. So I think that's a belief that is at least a sort of cultural or referential thing, if it's not a like prescriptive, your baby might be in danger thing.
Yeah, like, I hope we're not burning babies still to make sure that they're not, changelings.
No, morbid fun fact though. Want one?
Yeah, always.
So
is this about Ireland and drowning?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great.
It is.
Great.
It super is actually. Oh, it might be the worst Ireland drowning story.
Okay, do it. I'm ready for it. I just sat up more in my seat.
So my grandmother is her last name was Clancy, and she was from a town outside of Galway, which is on the west coast of Ireland.
Clancy is also your brother's middle name.
It is, right,
Okay.
because Ireland.
Yes.
And Galway, nota bene, is the best city in Ireland. Fight me. But my grandma is from a smaller city outside of there called Tuam, Tuam. And I was lucky enough to visit it. I saw the house outside of which she grew up several years ago when I went to Ireland for the first or second time. And it was freaking lovely. I loved it. However, Tuam made the news several months after I visited because a mass grave of infants was found, where Coram Boy style, a musical Julia and I saw in high school, and that actually Connor did his senior year of our drama program.
Yeah,
they did
did.
Coram Boy, which is a musical about infanticide. I don't understand how that happened.
Is that the one with the twins where they have to like murder the twins? Or is that
No,
a different one?
it was like about like a foundling hospital.
What was the murder twins one that I'm thinking of then?
Oh, there were twins and there was murder.
They got separated at birth?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
cool.
no, that's the one.
Just checking.
And like the front of the stage was soil because they had to bury babies in it. Anyway, it's fine. It's a very beautiful musical, actually. It really is. They had like a children's choir was the
Okay.
like striking thing about the performance.
Sure.
And just like an all like boys children choir, it just like gets to the soul in a way that nothing else does. Anyway, point being, there was a mass grave where it was supposed to be a place that unwed mothers went to have their babies and then be adopted, and it just totally was the opposite of that. And sorry, that was Tuam. And also my grandma grew up there, and it's a lovely city.
I am the all teeth emoji right now. Just like,
I'm the upside down smile.
Okay.
Ireland's great, lol.
Cool. Let's move away from Ireland for a second, and let's talk about some changeling myths from non-Europe.
I actually need a refill first.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So, Julia, this week we are sponsored by Storyblocks. I think I told you about it last time. What's up, Storyblocks? But they are a stock image, stock video, vectors, textures, people who are like amazing illustrators, like the folks that we see on Twitter recommending, fan art and showing things to us. They need all kinds of stock vectors and textures to get their art done some of the time. And in addition to all the things that you think of when you think of stock photography, Storyblocks also provides video. Like there's all kinds of stuff. And unlike other sites where you have to download each of them and pay for each of them as you go, you can download whatever you want. You can download hundreds or thousands of things for one annual membership at $149.
See, that seems like a real good bang for your buck.
It does. And it's like, I love that because you don't know what image or vector or texture is going to look the best in your art until you try it, So this doesn't punish you for like trying a bunch of different things. And we'd actually love to challenge you, Spiriters, to find the creepy coolest stock image you can on the Storyblocks site.
And the coolest part about Storyblocks is that they're adding stuff all of the time. There's always going to be a new image every time you go there, and it is insanely cool how much stuff they have.
And they have options to buy custom or additional images from artists, or artists take home 100% of the sale price, which I think is pretty dope.
It is pretty dope.
So we would love for you guys to go and try out the service, try to find some cool images to share with us. That's at storyblocks.com/spirits, where you have a free 7-day trial, 400,000 images and stuff. Oh, amazing.
So thank you so much, Storyblocks. We hope we can use some of your cool images and videos real soon.
All right, let's go back to the show.
So Amanda, now that we've got our refill, I'm going to take us away from Europe, and we're going to go to Africa instead.
Yay.
To talk about more changelings.
Let's
for a
do
little
it.
Bit. The first story we're going to talk about is a story from the Igbo people in eastern Nigeria. The spirit is called a Obon J, which the term literally means child who comes and goes.
That sounds right.
It is a evil spirit that will be born into a family and within a certain amount of time from birth will deliberately die. It would come back and then repeat the cycle, which causes the family grief.
Oh no, obviously. That would suck.
It completely sucks. It'll just keep repeating the cycle over and over again.
Question, into the same
Family.
form or reincarnated into new babies?
New babies.
Oh,
Yeah, not
that
great.
Sucks. And fuck, like what a horrible thing is repeated miscarriages or infant deaths. And like, again, I get it. Like human beings have to find a way to describe the indescribable. And like, this definitely counts.
Yes. And it's a very tragic story, which just, I can't imagine going through that. And the spirit will actually do like multiple cycles. I vaguely remember in Things Fall Apart.
Yeah.
That's the book that we read in
Chinua Achebe, yeah.
Yeah. There was one of the characters in the book was described as a Obweje because it was like the one child that survived after 10 sort of cycles of
shit, you're right.
miscarriages and infant death and all of that.
Fuck.
I can't remember the character's name, but I don't remember any of the characters' names actually from that book. It's been
Excellent
a while
book.
since I read it.
It has been 8 years? Yikes.
Yeah, because we read it junior year, and that's when I started dating Jake.
Aw.
So
now back to infant death.
back to some more infant death. So the Igbo would actually ritualistically cut the bodies of these children that they suspected to be the spirits, because they would hope that it would stop the spirit from returning. But
I see, to like ward off.
Right. But if it was done improperly, it would and the spirit came back, it would show in birthmarks on the body.
Yikes.
So like in spots where they were supposed to have been cut or whatever, and it explains like either birth defects or marks on the body or certain like scars and birthmarks and whatnot.
Yikes. I mean, I get it so hard, and yet it still sucks so much.
Interestingly, the Yoruba, which is another tribe in Africa, had a similar term known as ibuku, which translated to predestined to death and refers to the spirits of children that would die before the age of 12 and continue to return back to the family.
I mean, as if being a family that experiences, death of children or a child whose siblings had passed or had before you is hard enough, like this this really sucks. This really sucks.
Yeah, no.
Like there's no two ways about it. But I mean, it makes so much sense. Like this kind of thing, if there is a medical issue or a nutrition issue, you know, or just situation in which unfortunately this tragedy happens to you again and again, it makes a certain kind of sense that you would try to find a way to describe it.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know, it's kind of like that story that we covered in the 30 Myths in 30 Minutes, and in Year Walk.
Yeah.
With the spirit of the unbaptized baby trying to get into the cemetery.
Right.
That's just like, it's super heavy stuff, but it was also the reality of the times, and mythology is always shaped around the reality of the times and the reality of the culture that it comes out of.
And like it is a base instinct in a way that like other base instincts like birth and love and grief and, you know, marriage and kind of all these things that define humanity, that are things we've invented for ourselves and shit that we experience. It's like the shit of real life. Like that is the kind of stuff that myth is made of.
Yeah, it's that cycle of life stuff. If it exists in mankind, we're gonna have stories about it.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks. I'm gonna bring us to a lighter note, I think, hopefully.
All right.
Because we're gonna fast forward to 1950s England.
It sounds like some shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, there's some good shit.
Let's do it.
So you know how creepy paintings are totally a thing in horror movies? And
for sure.
Like episodes of Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Because
Duh.
can Amanda list all the Scooby-Doo people for me real quick?
Freddy has an ascot.
Cool.
Velma has a orange sweater.
Okay.
Some other hot lady has purple. Daphne.
Cool. We're at 3.
Shaggy
Yeah.
is a stoner.
Yes.
And they're Scooby, right?
Yes.
That's it.
You did good.
And they're in a green van.
You did so good,
Oh,
Amanda.
thank you, babe.
I'm so proud of you.
That is one thing I did
you got
consume.
4 out of 5, right?
That is the thing I consumed as a kid.
I like that Daphne was the hot one in the purple sweater.
I actually found Velma to be the hottest because I think she was like attainable for me. Like a queer lady
nerd
thing.
hot.
A queer lady thing is like you're never sure if your attraction to somebody is aspirational, like a thing I want to be, or like a thing I want to date. And so it was definitely both for me, where she was like slightly rounder with shorter hair and glasses, and I was like, oh, okay, like that could be me, but also like she's pretty. Anyway,
I completely feel you. I was always a Velma girl myself. So
identifying with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. So obviously creepy paintings get bonus points if it's a creepy painting of a child.
Mm-hmm.
How about if it's a crying child? And how about if the paintings are apparently cursed?
Let's do it.
Okay. So that's the case actually of the painting known as the Crying Boy.
Okay.
Now on its own, it isn't a super special painting. It was a mass-produced print of a painting by Giovanni Bragolan.
Wait, this crying child was so compelling that they mass produced it?
Yes.
The other day I saw a kid on the sidewalk with his mom take a lick of an ice cream cone, and then the whole ball fell over comically onto the sidewalk. And I was like, wait, now I am complicit in this tragedy. Like, I had to witness this. And the poor baby, like, I like ran forward past them so that I wouldn't have to see his poor face like screw up in anger and mourning.
Mourning that ice cream.
I work on the same block as an ice cream shop, and so unfortunately I fear that this is going to be a thing that I see.
Well, summer's almost over, so
that's true.
That is a genuine plus for you.
Summer friends don't stay.
So painting.
Oh my god, yes. No, crying child, so popular they had to mass produce
the
it.
Crying Boy. It was called the Crying Boy.
Does he have like a lollipop that's broken?
No,
and is
it's just I will link it in the show notes. It is just a crying child.
Okay.
You can Google it. It's just the head of a crying boy.
I mean, I guess if you have to like have a subject sit still for a long time and do something, crying for a baby is pretty plausible.
He's got a little bit of like a bowl cut too.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a bad painting. I don't know why, but it was super popular in England during the 1950s.
Oh my god, I love it.
Now the height of the rumors about this apparent curse started in September of 1985. Because the Sun, which is like a tabloid newspaper kind of in England, reported that an Essex firefighter claimed that undamaged copies of the painting were frequently found in the ruins of burned down houses. It's amazing, right?
Now I want my firefighter brother Austin to look in fires that he douses what things are mysteriously untouched by flame.
Even more so, Amanda, these observations became so prominent that firefighters in the area refused to hang the painting in their own homes.
I mean, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you just miss out on the fad of the crying child painting. I'm so sorry.
It actually, so the Sun ran several more articles.
Wait, was there like a multi-level marketing scheme where people would be like representatives of the company that sells the like crying child, and like also cosmetics and Tupperware and like, you know, like these things where you like are meant to sell it, to put money into it and you lose money. Yeah. So I wonder if there was one of those for
the
crying child
painting. I think it's like how every college student has a painting that's like a Monet or something, or Starry Night in their dorm room.
Yeah, a single Van Gogh and a single Fight Club and a single like Pulp Fiction poster.
I think that's just how it was, but in 1950s England.
And everyone's dorm floor has to have the like single guitar guy and the stoner and the nerd and the person who you can count on for Band-Aids, like the mom. That was me.
I was going to be like, I don't know anyone who's just the person that had Band-Aids.
Oh, no, that was me.
I remember the person who had weed on our floor, not Band-Aids, though.
I ended up becoming friends with the guitar guy, and so many times he would cut himself or like burn himself making stoner fries at 3 a.m. and know that there was Band-Aids outside my room.
Did he just knock on your door at 3 a.m?
I ended up just putting some in a folder on my door.
Oh, that makes sense.
Classic Amanda.
That is the most you statement, because you wouldn't wake up and be bothered by these people at 3 a.m, but you would have Band-Aids readily available.
Oh yeah, I figured out a system. Like, come on, I'm not a newborn babe here.
Obviously.
I'm not a changeling. So wait, what happened to this creepy kid?
Okay, so the Sun ran several more stories over the next few months, and it ended up culminating in people believing the curse so much that they organized mass bonfires of the paintings that were sent to the paper by readers.
Man, the British love their bonfires, yo.
They do. It was in
really
November,
do.
so I think that's when
Guy
Bonfire
Fawkes Day.
Yeah.
5th of November.
So instead of burning wood and stuff, they burned crying boy paintings.
A lot of the time, the British are just so steadfastly like medium, you know, like they're just like very average in lots of ways. They're just like so dedicated to being average, but also they are extra in lots of ways. So one example is their tabloids. So the Sun, for example, like the New York Post or the whatever Inquirer, things that we have in the U.S.
Well, the Post and the Inquirer are very different.
I mean, the Post is like real journalism, quote unquote, verging on tabloids.
Cool.
Anyway, they in England just show porn. Like, they just have topless women in their tabloids. They're just there.
Cool.
They're topless.
Okay.
Just in the supermarket or at the like sidewalk newsstand. Like, they're just there and topless. And so when I moved to England as a 19-year-old studying abroad, I was like, wait, how are these boobs allowed? Like, I was
How are these boobs allowed?
I was so surprised that there were just breastises and also triangular packaged sandwiches, which are a great idea, and we need more in America. Thank you, Pret. Anyway, that's my England newsstand rant of the day.
Okay. You feel good? Got that off your chest now?
I feel great, Julia.
Okay. So I want to finish out the story of the crying boy with the fact that there was no specific reason given as to why this particular painting was cursed. So I figured, why don't we come up with our own backstory about this crying boy and why he's burning down houses?
Oh my God, yes.
Let's do it up. Give it to me.
His nanny scalded his warm milk before bedtime.
Okay, and that's why he burns down houses.
Yes.
You gotta give me a little bit more than that. Come on. Give me
Well, what do
a
you
tragic backstory, God damn it.
I don't want it to be tragic. I want it to be mundane.
No, I want it to be tragic. Make it as extra as the tabloids.
The like Christmas hearth fire was not warm enough for him, and so things have to be warm forever as a house fire.
Okay, now I'm coming up with a better one.
I'm 3 whiskeys in. Give me a break.
I'm gonna go with he was the non-favorite child of the family, and on Christmas Eve one day they all went to a party and they left him behind without any special care or something.
Home Alone style?
Yeah, Home Alone style. They
Okay.
forgot him in a hotel.
Macaulay Culkin or whatever his name is. Great.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
What was that? You want to go one more time? Is this your Sigourney Weaver?
No, I don't. Sigourney Weaver.
You suck.
Oh,
hate
beautiful.
So they leave him home, and he accidentally burns down the house and burns alive inside it.
His evil stepmother beats him secretly when his dad isn't looking.
Okay.
or he discovers Bertha Mason in the attic.
That's a solid one.
And Rochester is, like he does, just brooding in a study. And then the house burns down.
If we're making Home Alone references, Rochester is Tim Curry as the, like, not butler, but the dude, the concierge.
What?
Have you not seen Home Alone 2?
No.
He's stuck in Manhattan.
Wait, hold on. Pause. Is this the Tim something that is the Santa Claus? Or is this the Tim something that's in Rocky Horror?
What is happening right now?
You said Tim something. Tim Allen or Tim the other one?
Curry.
Tim Curry, the better one. The better one. The better one. Don't worry. I know that he's better. Oh, Julia's crying.
I'm in an actual fetal position. What are you doing to me?
Oh, you bring creepy kids into my life, Julia. I respond with my dumb creepiness.
Amanda, no. Amanda, no.
So Tim Allen.
No, Tim Curry.
Okay, Tim Curry. Tim Curry.
Tim Curry also, tying it back to our intro, played It in the original mini series on television.
Is it a clown?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you never seen pictures of Tim Curry as It?
No.
They're horrifying. It's why
I don't
I'm
want
scared
to.
of clowns. I'll show it to you later.
No.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Okay.
I want Tim Curry to always just be in Rocky Horror.
Oh God. Okay, we got to move on, or else I'm just gonna think about Tim Curry for the rest of this fucking episode. I don't want to do that. You know what I love, Amanda? You know I love a good creepy urban legend from Japan.
Oh my God! Fuck yes, we should have a spin-off podcast of creepy urban legends from Japan.
Let's just tell a quick one, real quick. So this story is pretty similar to Bloody Mary. It's one of those, Japanese school children will say it and do it, and creep each other out.
Yes.
This is called Hanako-san, and she is a spirit of a young girl who haunts school bathrooms, and only appears when someone calls her name.
Okay.
So what you gotta do...
Moaning Myrtle, got it.
Yeah,
Like the
almost
opposite,
exactly.
where she doesn't just constantly talk, you have to summon her.
Yeah.
Good.
So her origins go back a decent amount, especially for an urban legend. Usually those are pretty recent.
Yeah.
But it's said that she was killed in a bathroom during an air raid during World War II.
No.
So though some stories kind of say they have different versions, like all urban legends.
Sure.
She was either killed by a crazed parent or a stranger that was, in the school, whatever.
But killed by a person and not by the air raid?
Yes.
Okay.
But the point is she died in a bathroom. So we gotta hit up those bathrooms if we want to find her.
God, if I have to die and haunt a place, just make it the New York Public Library. Make it the Met. Make it somewhere good.
Make it the New York Public Library, like the beginning of Ghostbusters. So if you want to call Hanako, what you got to do is you have to go to the third stall in the girls' bathroom on the third floor and knock 3 times.
Of where? Just wherever you are?
At any school.
Okay.
It has to be at a school, Amanda. God, it's a girls' bathroom.
It's like on the first day of school in high school, you tell the freshmen that their whatever lunchtime orientation is in the pool.
Yes.
On the 4th floor.
Yes.
Which we didn't have.
Yeah, we did. Nope. Did we even have 3 floors? Yeah, we had 3 floors.
We have 3. We have 3.
Okay. So what you have to do is you have to ask, "Are you there, Hanako-san?" To which you should hear a voice answer, "I'm here." If you hear that and enter the stall, you should see a small girl in a red skirt.
No!
And that's it. She's just there.
No!
And then you blink and she disappears. It's all
No!
good. That's the scary part.
I mean,
That's
children
she's
that
there.
operate and disapparate, no.
Okay, this, of course, like any urban legend, is going to have a few variations. In some versions, a white hand appears outside the stall, or it's a blood-stained hand. Up to you, really, I guess. In my favorite version, which comes from the Yamagata prefecture, if one enters the stall after calling Hanako-san and getting a response, they will be eaten by a 3-headed lizard that mimicked the girl's voice.
Oh my God.
That's my favorite.
That's just so good.
Yeah. I'm all about the lizard people,
One
man.
can go for your head and then one for each of your arms?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Be a good D&D character, 3-headed lizard.
If we were a 3-headed creature, Julia, who would be the 3rd head?
I guess Eric.
I guess Eric.
That would make the most sense.
I guess so.
As we know from our adorable photo that someone drew. I'm forgetting the person's name, but it's on our Instagram, and
Yeah,
it's great.
so cute. It's also Schneider's profile picture right now.
Yes.
So cute.
And you and Eric Silver use it as a meme in our group
Yeah,
text.
so in this beautiful fan art, which we will link in the description, Julia just looks so sultry. She looks like she's currently seducing an older man.
Hey!
And so Eric Silver and I have cropped that image to show just Julia's
I
face.
hate you so much.
And we put it in our group text as a reaction all the time. Now I just need a gif of you winking. That would really just finish my life. So y'all, if you have GIF skills, if you're able to make a GIF out of an image, please tweet me at She's So Mickey, and I will send you the Julia face.
I'm
I love
pouting
you.
right now.
I love you.
Uh-huh.
I'm your maid of honor, Julia.
Sure.
I love you.
I haven't even asked you yet.
I'm conscripting myself.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
And what happens with this bathroom myth?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
She just eats you?
Yeah.
Cool.
If she's a lizard, she just eats you.
What is her motivation? I need to know her character backstory.
I don't know. So urban legends don't always have character backstory. I'm sorry.
But I want to know.
They're just things that. Do you want to come up with one like we came up with the crying boy,
Yes.
which you failed blatantly at?
Julia, I try my best. That's all that matters. As every gym teacher I've ever had told me, all that matters is that you try.
It's so true, though.
Until we got to Rauchi in our junior year, where, again, we were in a super intense theater program. We did like 20 or 30 hours a week of work in this theater program. And so we had first period gym one year, and our like Puerto Rican surfer bro, lovely gym teacher, like got me. And when we did electives in one quarter, like some people did football, some did volleyball, some did weights, he was like, you guys can meditate if you want. And so I just led 10 other drama kids in quote unquote meditation and yoga, which was actually us napping in the like screening room from the wrestling team on like wrestling mats.
Okay, Amanda, we're going to hit up our last creepy child, which I feel as though is probably the most prominent understanding of the creepy child.
Bring it.
And that is the black-eyed child.
Do it.
And so this is a theme that probably goes back further, but it's just so permeated into our culture. But really the concept of the black-eyed children really only came into prominence during the late 1990s.
Okay.
So these are paranormal beings that are usually children either between the age of 6 and 16, which seems a little old for me, but like the solid 6 to 11 is probably more accurate.
Okay. You can be like a young 15.
Yeah, I guess so.
I get it.
So these children have a distinctive pale skin and just black eyes.
Yikes.
Like no like all pupil, all the whites, just it's all black. Like,
no good.
No, not good at all.
No good.
But I feel as though that is quite the trope now. If you go and watch any supernatural show, if you watch the show Supernatural, if you really just watch anything with demon possession or ghosts and stuff, there's going to be a black-eyed child somewhere in there.
Yeah, my coworker's adorable tiny Italian greyhound, who is my favorite new coworker. Her name is Pixel. She's amazing.
I love that name.
Instagram at She's Some Mickey and Snapchat. You will find me. Anyway, but her eyes are so gigantic in her face that she looks like all pupil all the time. And I'm like, oh, are you a demon? No, you're an adorable greyhound.
I think all dogs, you don't see really the whites of dogs' eyes.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking about demonically possessed dogs. That's not cool.
What would they do? What would be their infernal purpose?
Murder people, because dogs can murder people.
I mean, is that it? Or is it just like undermining your life somehow in an interesting way?
Like the dog eats your taxes so you get like the IRS comes after you.
The dog pees on your passport, so you have to do like the 2-document authentication at the DMV.
That's the worst.
No, the worst.
Okay. Let's focus on the stories of the black-eyed children.
Okay, wait, black-eyed child. Okay, go.
So stories surrounding black-eyed children usually are ones where they are hitchhiking or panhandling. Or even creepier, in my opinion, showing up at the doorsteps of residential homes.
Yeah, no good.
I don't want to see a child on my doorstep, especially. I don't want to see a child on my doorstep if they're selling candy bars, much less if they have black eyes and are like demons.
The ranking of creepy like solicitation behavior
Go for it.
is like 1, squeegee man, right, from our childhood in the 90s New York.
Okay.
2, like subway mariachi band. 3, at your doorstep jankily selling candy. 4, like in person in a park. That's the like solicitation creepiness scale, in my opinion.
So squeegee is low or high?
High. Because you're like in your car sitting at a red light and someone walks up to you and starts squeegeeing your windshield and expects money for it.
Yeah.
No, bad.
That's
I
not
can't
great.
move. I can't get away.
Like legally, I can't get away.
Yeah, and like same in the subway. Like you're playing your guitar in my face or like show timing, like breakdancing right in front of me. I can't go anywhere. We're all in this car together.
Yeah.
You gotta figure it out.
At least I can ignore you if you ring my doorbell.
Right.
Like
Like in a supermarket or like on the sidewalk. Like you can figure it out.
Yeah. Jake and I just moved from an apartment to a residential home.
Hey.
And I just realized that I have to now buy candy for Halloween.
Aww.
Because children are actually going to come to my door.
Yep, not a problem in my apartment building in Queens where everybody is old.
My social anxiety is going through the roof at having to deal with children.
You can just put it on the stoop
Oh, but then they take it all.
and say, please take one.
Like
and then see who's going to be a future lawbreaker.
The teens come and they just dump the whole bowl into their not suitcases, their pillowcases. They're all dressed as businessmen and have suitcases.
You know that Jake is going to really relish scaring children in some way.
Oh, Jake loves that shit. It's
yeah,
his
so
favorite thing.
he can be in charge of the candy distribution.
He's just gonna dress up as Michael Myers from Halloween and just sit on our stoop and have children come up to him thinking that he's a statue and then go, ah.
Wait, did Michael Myers, is he the guy who played Austin Powers? That wasn't a silly question.
Yes, but Michael Myers, the character, is different from Mike Myers, the actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's Michael Myers?
Michael Myers is the dude who wears the William Shatner mask, who murders people on Halloween.
What?
Who attacked Jamie Lee Curtis.
What?
Have you not seen Halloween?
No.
Okay, we're going to work on that then, I
Then who
guess,
has the
too.
hockey mask?
That's Jason from Friday the 13th.
Fuck, there's too many.
Yeah, there's a lot. The 80s were a weird time. There's also Leatherface. Can you tell me what Leatherface is from?
Nope.
Can you tell me what Freddy's from?
Nope.
Okay, so Leatherface.
Is Chucky different from Freddy?
Yes.
Aw.
Very different.
I don't want to know all these.
Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, attacks you in your dreams.
What does he look like?
Has a knife glove and has burns all over his face and wears a striped sweater.
No.
No? You don't know who I'm talking about or no, you're not into it?
Neither.
Oh, Amanda.
No.
Johnny Depp gets murdered in the first Friday the 13th movie.
I don't want to see it.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes. Let me show you. It's fine.
No.
And then Chucky. Was Chucky the last one that you said?
Yeah.
Chucky's like a doll that's possessed by a murderer.
And then it is a clown.
Yes. Unless
Okay.
yeah.
Any
It is a
others I'm
clown.
missing?
The Thing from John Carpenter, which
What
is
is
a
The Thing?
shapeshifter alien
It's
thing.
everything?
It does a bunch of different stuff. You remember that episode of X-Files where they're up in the Arctic or something and there's
Yes.
yeah, that's just basically a 30-minute version of John Carpenter's The Thing.
So I don't have to see it. Excellent.
Fair enough. Okay, where were we?
I don't remember.
Completely forgot. Residential homes. So we can trace the origin of black-eyed children to a Texas reporter named Brian Bethel.
What did you rot, Brian? What hath Brian wrought?
He had, in quotes, a ghost-related mailing list during the 1990s.
Bring
which
it,
is-
Brian.
Which is amazing, would sign up for, would go back and steal it from him.
Brian, get in touch.
So Bethel describes 2 experiences with children in Abilene, Texas during 1996 in this newsletter. And then says he encountered another story similar in Portland, Oregon. So apparently this is one of the stories that was an early example of the internet's first few creepypasta, which if you
Yes.
don't know what a creepypasta is, it is basically an urban legend of the internet age, specifically designed around horror supernatural elements.
And sometimes is just like creative writing. Like it's sometimes, often, mostly, almost always people writing creepy shit, but it is really creepy.
Or in the instance of Slender Man, let's say, because that's a really well-known one, it is someone did just an image that they photoshopped and then people created a story around it.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool in my opinion.
It is really cool. It's like those kind of found or creative writing prompts that we did a lot as kids.
Yes.
Or in our creative writing classes, it would be just like a bunch of photos and choose one and write about it. So I think it's really lovely, and there's like a very cool, creepy community around it.
Yeah. I'm super into it. And we know a couple people who either do creepypasta podcasts or talk about creepypastas a lot. Our friend John Grills of Small Town Horror Podcast also does another podcast called Creepy, and you should check it out.
Yes, you should check out both those shows. They are really, really good.
Yes. So what exactly the black-eyed children are is a source of debate among internet communities.
Are they demons?
Well, so some believe that they are ghosts or demon-possessed children.
Nice.
Others even think that they might be a certain breed of vampires or that they might be extraterrestrials.
Oh my god, aliens.
I love a good alien thing.
We can't have an episode of Spirits without referencing or kind of alluding to aliens.
Yes.
I love it.
I love a good alien. We gotta do an alien episode at some point. We did record one, but it wasn't, didn't make it to air.
So what happened, y'all,
Okay.
is that before we released any episodes of Spirits, we recorded several, right, to like see how it is and edit them and see, what we should do, including the Bigfoot episode with Jake, Julia's fiance. Hey.
That was a weird way of saying that.
That's how Eric Silver says it, so that's how I say it too.
Cool.
And Jake accidentally got very drunk the day that we recorded the Bigfoot episode, and so we were going to record Bigfoot and then aliens, but in between Bigfoot and aliens, we recorded our Persephone episode, and during that, Jake just kept drinking whiskey, I guess, and he got so drunk that we recorded just an indecipherable aliens episode.
It was just really out of order, and he kept getting sidetracked, and I love him to death. He's the best. But I asked him to do research on non-US stuff, and the whole thing was US, and Japan has some really cool alien stuff, and I really want to touch on that.
And aliens is a huge topic. You have to kind of choose a lens and go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fine. At some point we will do an aliens episode. Yeah. Don't you worry.
I'm gonna have him re-record it at some point.
Yes.
I love that man. He's
clearly you're getting married.
Ooh.
Oh.
So Amanda, that's all the creepy children I got for the time being.
Oh man, I bet there are so many more in the world.
There probably are.
Listeners, please tell us your favorite creepy child myth, legend, story, sleepover tale, whatever. I want to hear it. I also want to see photos. If you have child photos of yourself or others that you permission to post their photos on the internet, please send us creepy photos of kids.
I was going to put that disclaimer on there, but you beat me to it.
Beat you to it.
Yeah, I am sure that there are some great creepy child urban legends that are from your hometown. I found a bunch that just didn't make it into this episode. Like one where it was a man in a bunny mask that just murders children under a bridge. That's not cool. Don't do that.
I don't want to know about it.
Yeah, not into it.
Or just like quotidian creepy children. For example, we had a friend growing up in our grade who had a much younger brother. I think he was born when we were in like 6th grade, 5th grade, and just looked creepy, angelic, creepy, changeling-like. I'll tell you his name after the recording,
cool.
Julia. Or my across the street neighbors growing up. The kids went to Catholic school, and so there was just like
not a good sign already.
Julia just shakes her head immediately, and so just like
my immediate thought goes to The Omen.
Yep. And so kids in Catholic school uniforms, just like looking creepily with their like very light red hair at me from my bedroom window growing up.
That's horrifying and makes me think of The Shining.
No good.
Don't do
what
that
is The Shining?
The Stanley Kubrick movie with Jack Nicholson.
Nope.
Here's Johnny.
Nope.
They're in a hotel.
Is he in a shower?
No, they're in a hotel.
Nope, don't know about it.
Oh.
Sorry.
There's a kid riding the tricycle through the halls of the hotel and just stumbles across. Okay, whatever. Nope. I'll show you that later too.
I got nothing.
I think I came up with 5 movies that I have to show you in this one episode. So.
Live show concept. Us watching the important bits of those movies and me just commenting and being scared on stage.
I'm into it.
If you'd be into it, tweet us at Spirits Podcast.
All right, I think that's all. And from the bottom of my heart this episode, stay creepy.
And if you can, if you survive, if you're able to keep your wits about you, stay cool. Spirits was created by Amanda McLaughlin, Julia Schaffini, and Eric Schneider, with music by Kevin MacLeod and visual design by Allison Wakeman.
Keep up with all things creepy and cool by following us on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram at Spirits Podcast. We also have all our episodes, collaborations, and guest appearances, plus merch on our website, spiritspodcast.com.
Come on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/spiritspodcast, for all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff. Throw us as little as $1 and get access to audio extras, recipe cards, director's commentaries, and patron-only live streams.
And hey, if you like the show, please share us with your friends. That is the best way to help us keep on growing.
Thank you so much for listening. Till next time.